Welcome back to Bangalore at 5. The Little Cop Force was to be launched by the BBMP by 26 January 2008. However, money has been stated as the reason behind the delay.
The BBMP, in coordination with the Territorial Army, was to implement the Litter Corp Force by 26 Jan 2008. This force checks and collects spot fine for offences like spitting, urinating and throwing garbage. Environmentalist Suresh Heblikar says littering is a major menace in the city and steps to improve the situation should be taken by the BBMP and even the citizens should act responsibly. Chief Health Officer of the city, Mrs. Gayatri, says salary of 1,000 rupees for the Litter Corp Force is the issue for delay in the implementation. However, the BBMP PRO, Mr. Khandre, says
Mr. Nandakumar, who was in charge of the Territorial Army, has been transferred from this Territorial Army. Due to that reason, I think the initiation has not been taken.
The Territorial Army says that salary was never the issue.
The BBMP had already reserved some budget the financial year for the Little Cop project. I am not a person who is indispensable to the organization. There are other officers where I can tell them to take over. The ball is in the BBMP's court. Let it come back to me.
Most of the BMTC buses in Bangalore are not equipped with the first aid box. Krishna Murthy reports.
The Karnataka Motor Vehicles Act makes it mandatory for a bus to be equipped with a first aid box. Some of the drivers and conductors are completely unaware of this rule.
It's an old bus, so we don't have any first aid boxes.
The Red Cross Society, who are authorized to provide first aid equipment to BMTC buses, is very particular on implementing this rule.
According to the rules, all transporters they must use first aid. And also they must be trained. Irritated, they must do that.
The passengers strongly feel the necessity of a first aid kit in the bus.
Last month, my leg was hurt while traveling in the bus. There was no medical shop nearby. A first aid kit would have helped me.
BMTC says that 55 people have met with accidents in buses this year, which is more than double the figure of 24 last year. Of the buses which do have a first aid kit, essential equipments like Dettol and Band-Aid are usually missing. The BMTC chief manager blames the staff for not being orderly.
Conductors and drivers, they are given time for coffee and all that. In that period, they leave the vehicle and go. Sometimes some gentleman takes it out. But as soon as we notice that, it is refilled.
However, the bus staff disagrees with the chief manager.
This kit is 2 years old. When we ask the officials to change it, they shout at us. So that's why we don't even ask them.
Though the law on first aid box is existing from a very long time, the implementation seems to be lacking. With 55 accidents already in this year, the BMTC needs to act quickly to bring down this number. For IIJNM, this is Krishna Murthy.
On the other side of the break, unqualified drivers in driving schools. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Driving instructors in Bangalore are not fully aware of qualified to train students in driving schools. The scheme has more on this.
Motor Vehicles Rules 1989 make it a compulsion to have a certificate course in motor mechanics or any other qualification in mechanical engineering along with other requirements, but most driving schools are unaware of this clause.
The trainers who teach practically, they will be only qualified up to 10th class.
4 years experience.
The driving instructors say adequate experience is enough to be allowed to teach.
5 साल का लाइसेंस पे एक्सपीरियंस देना पड़ता है और एसएलसी पास होना पड़ता है.
The authorities say regular checks are done to keep this under control, but he could not recall the date of the last patrol. Traffic experts say this is a common feature in India, even for the drivers employed by the government services.
Wherever they notice such type of misuses or not according to the rules, they always take action on the licenses that were granted to them.
In a recent workshop for driving instructors, it was also noted that if safety measures like using safety belts are not taught at driving schools, then the new drivers don't take to it easily.
They also have some kind of certificate to understand the various parts of the vehicle. So during the training program to other candidates, so they must be able to teach them also. Going for 8-ton or reverse and getting some license to kill. It's not license to drive, it becomes license to kill.
Both the authorities and experts are in agreement that hiring underqualified drivers is putting the learner's safety at risk. But in view of the demand versus supply of drivers, they see no other option. This is Tasneem Balapurwala reporting for IIJNM.
That's all for the headlines of the day.
Thank you for watching Bangalore F5.